Breaking tonight, Trump wins big in South Carolina and Bush suspends his campaign. Could tonight have changed everything in this GOP presidential race for the White House? With me now, my all-star panel, Republican strategist and Fox News contributor Tony Saez, former McCain campaign advisor Boris Epshteyn, and Democratic strategist Marianne Marsh. All right, let's start with this. I'm going to do the Republicans now, and maybe I'm going to start with you, Marianne. Trump won big, double digits. Marco Rubio had all this support from South Carolina establishment, all the loved politicians, and you know, Cruz didn't do so well, even though it's an evangelical state. I mean, what's your take from all of this?
It's hard to see where Trump gets stopped now. He's put the same coalition together that Republican nominees normally put together, McCain and Romney, except it's on steroids. He walks out of South Carolina tonight with 55 delegates. The fact is, if Rubio and Cruz can't win South Carolina, when Rubio had every endorsement you could have possibly imagined in South Carolina, Cruz, that state was tailor-made for him. If they can't win there, where do they win? And it's like compound interest now. The Republicans start going to winner take all. You're not going to be able to keep
And you
Trump.
say Cruz should have won it because of the evangelical vote.
He should have, and he didn't. He came in maybe third or second. They're still fighting it out.
And you know what? I don't know why they call him and Rubio outsiders. I mean, really, they're both United States senators, but Cruz is considered more of an outsider. So being an outsider and an evangelical, his number should have been bigger. Boris, what do you say?
Cruz is an outsider because no one likes him. So he's an outsider because he's in the Senate. Nobody likes him. Nobody will ever vote for anything he puts up. No one likes him. There's no surprises. Nothing changed tonight on the Republican side. It's Trump. It's going to be Trump, and it's still Trump. He had a huge win, to use his favorite phrase, huge, right? He had a huge win. Huge. This is my best impersonation. He had a really big night. He needed to win and need to get over 30%, and he did that. Now he's going to Nevada, where he's up by over 20 points.
Right.
Then he's going to March 1st, Super Tuesday. He's leading in most of those states. There's not a place right now that's a firewall for any of the other candidates. You look at Cruz, he's not a national candidate.
All right, Tony. So Charlie Black, Mr. Republican, National Republican, you know, he says Trump's got all these unlikables. Does that matter? Is that going to stop him?
Well, he's fixed them really fast. His unlikables in June versus now have basically evaporated if you compare them. Look, I'll agree with my colleagues on the panel and you, Judge, in the respect that big win for Donald Trump. Here is his template for Super Tuesday, which are largely like states like South Carolina. He can have easily double-digit wins throughout most of the South at a time where 500 delegates are up for grabs. That could be potentially huge. To your point, Marianne, is he stoppable? Doesn't look like it. However, let's be a bit strategic about this. Tonight was, whether we like to say it or not, or whether it's popular to say it or not, a big night for Marco Rubio. Jeb Bush exiting this race. Rubio coming in damaged from New Hampshire, rehabilitating himself into a narrow second place. I don't think you could now look at this race as strictly a one-man race. It's frankly a three-man race with Rubio leading the anti-Trump side.
Rubio was third in Iowa, fifth in New Hampshire, and we're not sure if he's second or third. I mean, come on with all that support.
Republicans have a history of nominating the second.
Here's the problem for Rubio. What he revealed in that debate, where he proved to everyone he was only a mile wide and an inch deep, and everyone feared that, he will never get over that.
Republicans have a history of nominating.
Oh, he did pretty well, but go ahead.
Not good enough.
Republicans have a history of nominating the person who was second in the prior primary. It's not going to happen this time, but Rubio's fighting for that now. He had a big night in terms of 2020 or maybe 2024, not for 2016.
Judge, there's a third of the Republican vote who want the outsider secular, like Donald Trump. In other words, Donald Trump doesn't believe in the cause of conservatism. Is he conservative on some issues? Sure, but is he a fighter for deep-thinking principles on the conservative side, like a Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio? No. So what you're going to see...
I don't know if we even know that.
Well, if you look at his record, Judge...
I'm saying in the sense that he's a businessman. When would he have had the opportunity
to prove it? Public statements have constantly been contradictory. In any respect.
But you know, everybody evolves. Go ahead.
Rubio has not been a constant fighter for anything, you know, about getting
so
he's not been a constant conservative. Cruz has, but he's shown to be a very limited candidate, and South Carolina was Cruz's state. He lost. He should be out within 2 weeks.
Okay, Marianne Marsh says that it's Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
he's the front runner. But it's really silly to kind of call it all on February 20th when I think this race could go well into April 15th.
McCain won South Carolina by 4 points, and then he was
totally different rules. Totally different rules. You can't compare them.
Winning by 10 points.
Apples to oranges.
It's different.
You're moving
because the rules are different.
Winner take all. You're not going to catch up.
Okay, and you know what? Let's just very quickly before we go to break, I want to explain to the viewers the difference, and I don't know who can do this in the simplest way, the difference between the superdelegates and the delegates in the Republican and Democratic primaries.
In the Republican, we don't really have a superdelegate per se. The biggest issue is that up to March 15th, it is not winner take all. March 15th and after, it'll be winner take all in terms of delegates.
Right.
And the Democrats have superdelegates, and it's basically rigged. Hillary's already got like a third of the votes.
They're the most fickle people around, okay? If they've committed to you, they don't have to stay with you. So if they think you're going down, they're going to jump ship. They're elected officials, DNC members. They're the toughest crowd to keep on board.
Those elected officials, right there you have it. Of course they're going to change their mind. Anyway,